What's good, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Live Watch Sports Media. All right, this is your Motivation Monday edition. So, when it comes down to Caitlin Clark and her injury situation, there's so much fluff up in the air, back and forth, misinformation from the Fever coaching staff and the Fever front office. 1 minute she's day to day, 1 minute she's week to week. But nevertheless, finally Caitlin Clark went out and got her own doctors, um, and she took matters in her further hand. So we already know per the Indiana Fever X account, Caitlin Clark underwent further medical evaluation early this week, which confirmed that there's no additional injuries or damage were discovered. Caitlin will continue to work with the medical team on her recovery and rehabilitation with the priority on her long-term health. Now, you know that's something that Stephanie White always kept talking about: long-term health, long-term health. But you got to think about this for a minute. If they had handled Caitlin Clark injury the right way the first time around when she was injured in the preseason, and then set a rushed her back for that Liberty game where she scored what, three threes in 38 seconds, this could have been avoided because right after that, the Connecticut game, that's when she really got beat up really, really bad. And then she ended up missing games again. She wasn't good in the Valkyries game. She still was kind of hurt. And those are the things that becomes alarming for fans and, as a player that who commands so much of an offense, does so many things for this offense. Yeah, the Fever has been winning games despite her being absent. But the offense doesn't move as crisp, as cohesive as when she's playing. Now, Robert Lindbergh, he writes for SI, and he gave a little update. But I'm gonna have a full video of Holly Rowe, and he also wrote that it's been a injury riddled season in the Indiana superstar. Caitlin Clark has dealt with a myriad of issues throughout the 2025 WNBA campaign season, with the latest being her right groin injury suffered on July 15th in a victory over the Connecticut Sun. And that was the game that she seen JC Sheldon. Now, that's twice against the Connecticut Sun. She has got really banged up and injured, you know, and this one was looked so much severe to where we think, my thinking was she would have been out for the season. But now there's a chance that she could come back late August, around this fourth time. Now he also wrote that Clark missed her fourth straight contest with an ailment on Sunday. Throughout, her Fever teammates were able to pick up the slack and pick up the win against the Chicago Sky. But Holly Rowe reiterated that the Fever had previously shared that Clark suffers no additional injuries beyond the additional diagnosis, but she also provided some other noteworthy bit of information about Clark's rehab per Robert Lindell. So I'm gonna let y'all listen to what Holly Rowe have to say, and then I'm gonna chime back in. I don't know if y'all could hear that, so I'm gonna get the clip myself and play it so y'all can really hear it because I don't think y'all can hear that real quick. So let me look for it again and replay it for y'all and everything like that. Mhm. But nevertheless, I still think that I think All right, so let's see if I could get it to play for y'all real quick.
Had a long conversation with her head coach, Stephanie White, and they said they do want to be more cautious this time around, and they want to ramp Caitlin up and make sure she's getting more time in practice to get the rhythm and timing back before she plays. If you remember, the last time she returned from the quad injury, she didn't have any practice time. So I think they're going to take a more cautious approach, make sure she's back up, ramped up, and practicing more with this team. And if you take a look at their schedule, really the only window that they can do it is around the third week of August. So I would shoot for that as somewhat of a target date for Caitlin to return.
So she literally said that there is no target date or whatever the case might be for Caitlin Clark around the third week of August. But me personally, I think that it could be longer. I really think it could be longer. I think that there's no objective situation dealing with her or whatever the case might be. But like I said, I'm replay this again so y'all could get a good, clear, good listen.
Caitlin Clark, of course, out today for her 13th game this season. We do have some updates. She did see a specialist last week. No additional injury was found in that exam and scans. But Stephanie White did tell us that they will be even more cautious with their approach to her return to play this time. Last time when she came back after injury, she didn't get any practice time, any opportunity to ramp up her conditioning. So this time, they are going to make sure that she has time in practices to get rhythm and timing with her teammates. As you look at their schedule, the third week in August provides a few more practice days where that seems like it's realistic. And while she does remain day to day, that seems like a better timetable for a possible Caitlin Clark return because they have said we will be even more cautious this time and practice ramp up is going to be essential.
This is the thing. They continue to say day to day when we already know it. She's not day to day. Scott Agnes, wrote and pretty much said that she was out indefinitely. So why would you continue to give misinformation if she's out indefinitely? Allow her to be out indefinitely instead of um saying she's out day to day. Me personally, um, most likely there is no day to day. It's really week to week. You go on a week to week basis down the stretch. Not trying to rush her back because this is the thing. They want fans to continue to buy in that Caitlin Clark is going to be there. They don't want to mess with the ticket sales and all of that stuff like that. But if you be realistic and just say, hey, we don't have no timetable for her to come back, which that was illustrated early on last week, there was no timetable for her. So why would you continue to give out information and say that, oh, well, she's not going to be here? Well, she's going to be day to day, and knowing good or well, she's not going to be day to day. You have to really just give the people what they want because a lot of fans already know that she's not going to be out. Like I said before, I was on record saying that I think she's going to be out the rest of the season. I don't see it. I mean, two growing injuries, one on each side. It doesn't make sense for rushing her back or trying to figure out how well you're going to get her in. If you had took the time out early in the season when she first got this injury and took time, then guess what would have happened? She would have she would have been fine. She probably would have been still playing right now. But see, this is Stephanie White. Stephanie White does the stuff, all the time, and she gives misinformation. Like if you don't know, you don't know, you know, because even when Caitlin was out with her own medical staff, guess what? She they kept everything quiet. Right here, this kind of got me right here. There's and this person, Stephanie White, she said there is no more daily speculation. They now have a clarity. Don't expect Clark or back until further notice. Now, that's just said until further notice, but Holly Rowe just say day to day. See where we're going with this? I think that's big. Head coach Stephanie White agreed. Just the mindset of our group to know that we got what we got to continue to grow and connect in those ways. And she is available. And that she's available and then she's not available. We will she practice? Will she not practice? And sort of a disruption that comes from that sort of thing. She their clarity and and I think that's good for everybody, for Caitlin too, so she doesn't feel any kind of way. She can just approach and attack her rehab one day at a time. Now, to me, if I'm looking at that quote, is that okay? We know we're not going to have Caitlin for a while. We're not going to have her, you know, anytime soon. Okay, now we need to go to the next step. What we need to do. So guess what they did? They brought in another player. But at the same time, now it's like the whole team has a sigh of relief. Then Natasha Howard posted on the X account telling saying that hey, miss you on the court, you know. But now Stephanie White got what she wanted. She has a team that she don't have to worry about Caitlin Clark on it. She could focus on everybody else. But just know that the stretch of games is going to get even harder because now teams do understand there is no Caitlin Clark. There is no Caitlin Clark on the floor. And they're going to prepare for them a little bit differently than normal. So this is why I feel like if they don't want to say she's out for the season, because then guess what's going to happen? Teams going to play them differently. Teams going to play them anyway because they already know that Caitlin Clark is nowhere going to be playing. So I feel like at the end of the day is that it's good for Caitlin Clark just to continue to rest, continue to rehab, continue to she come back at her own pace. I don't even think that having her come back at August would be fine. I wouldn't even care if she came back at the end of the season, the last few games, or whatever the case may be. I mean, yeah, they got easy games down the stretch of August, but I mean, by that time, who knows what the Indiana Fever record would be like at that time? It could be, it could be bad. It could be good. I mean, you're not going to really supplant too many teams if you think about it. Um, who you got? You got the Mercury on Wednesday, right? So the Indiana Fever got the Mercury. Then they go into August. They got the Wings on Friday. They got the Storm on Sunday. They got the Sparks on during that time. If you look at it, they play the Wings again on the 12th. Then they got the 15th, the Mystics. And then they got the Sun again on the 17th. Me personally, I would never want her to come back and play against the Sun. Now, if you look at some people said the 22nd, that's the Lynx. Some people said ahead of that. So who knows? Me personally, you got 4 games in September. You got the Mercury, Sky, Mystics, and Lynx, the last game of the season. If you go into that game, the last game of the month, against the Valkyries, you got the Sparks Valkyries back to back at the end of August. Guess what's going to happen? You come back and play Phoenix. You're going to have a stretch of games. It's going to be tough. I just look at it like this. It's going to be tough. I mean, it's what it is, but all of this misinformation around Caitlin Clark, especially when it comes down to the FIBA organization, it's something that I just can't get down with. I think they need to be have more clear if they know Caitlin Clark is not going to come back into the end of the season or close to the end of the season. Then you need to look at the trade deadline to add some more pieces to this puzzle and be more prepared. So when she does come back, you have a good practice with her in there, a good practice as her as your leader, not Kelsey Mitchell running the show, not Natasha Howard running the show, Caitlin Clark running the show. That's what you want to prepare your team for. When Caitlin come back, we're going to do it a whole different way. So that's my take. But anyway, you let me know what you think about the whole situation with Caitlin Clark, her injury, how Do you feel that the Indiana Fever messed this up? I think there was some malpractice going on. I think they rushed her back too fast. Now they could have had her back now if they had did it right in the beginning. But now they're gonna have to wait until almost towards the end of the season to really get her back. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Till the next episode, you know what it is, because what? If you don't know, now you know.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire. It's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it. So official, like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back. Whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire. Sports and entertainment. Let's go.